Hi, welcome to my summer 2021 reading list and to my home office library. With patios and golf courses reopened, I realized that a reading list probably isn't top of mind, but ahead of some well-deserved vacation times, moving to a cottage office, or just some long weekends, I wanted to share some of my top reads over the past 15 months in COVID-19 lockdown. To begin, I'll start with one of the more intimidating reads on the list, The Count of Monte Cristo. At 1,200 pages, it's certainly not a light read, but one that I've found to be well worth it. Growing up, I was one of 3 boys, and for years we all shared the same bedroom. As you can imagine, we had quite a bit of energy, and to calm us down before bed each night, my dad found a great series of books called The Great Illustrated Classics. These featured great works of literature in abridged children's versions with pictures on each page highlighting what was going on in the story. The Count of Monte Cristo is one that captivated me as a kid, and for years later, I've always wanted to read the unabridged version. When the latest stay-at-home order kicked in, I decided that there's really no time like the present, and I've been working through it ever since and thoroughly enjoying it. It's the story of a young French sailor who, upon arriving home after a long voyage, finds himself imprisoned for reasons that are not quite clear to him. Many years go by, and as he thinks about who has done him wrong, he escapes, finds a fabulous fortune, and begins to extract revenge on his enemies. This is a fantastic book, and one that truly transcends the time and feels just as relevant today as it did when it was first published. For this one, I highly recommend the adult version for yourself, and if you have kids at home, to look into the Great Illustrated Classics series as well for them. My next recommendation is based off a book that I read earlier in February, which was The Alchemy of Finance by George Soros. While I wouldn't recommend this book necessarily, I would highly recommend the Soros Lectures, which was a 2009 lecture series delivered by Mr. Soros at the Central European University in Budapest. He really explores his theory of reflexivity, which is effectively just how feedback loops work in both financial markets as well as geopolitical spheres. For example, in the AMC stock drama, seeing a stock price go up, people making money, more investors pile in, which causes the stock price to appreciate further, thus reinforcing the loop. This next one's a fun one, ahead of the warmer weather and patios reopening, and it was a Christmas gift from my wife a number of years ago. For those who are looking to demystify the world of wine a bit more, Folly is a book I highly recommend for this. It really helps you to understand the basics of wine, as well as understanding different varieties through a number of standardized metrics that they use. What I found the most helpful, though, is how it explains that the same wine goes by many different names depending on the region it's from. For example, California's Zinfandel would be Primitivo in Italy. This book really helped me get more confidence in navigating wine lists, as well as picking out wines that match my barbecued foods better. This next one is a reread of mine that I just finished back in January. Skin in the Game by Nassim Taleb is all about symmetry and owning your risks. The basic concept behind this is that if you are to benefit and gain upside from a risk, then you also need to be owning the downside of it. He uses a number of great historical examples, as well as the more recent phenomenon of having outcomes separated from the risk that they generate. He uses the 2008 financial crisis as a great example, as banks were able to collect small and stable incomes from the mortgage-backed securities they were packaging. However, when this led to an ultimate just blow-up of the system, they all threw their hands up and claimed Black Swan. I highly recommend this one over his favorite drink, a really good cappuccino. Thanks for tuning in to listen to some of my top reads over the past 15 months. In the email that we sent, I've also included a number of our portfolio managers' top picks as well for more investment-focused reads. If you have any questions or would like help sourcing any of these books, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Additionally, if you've had any great books that you've read over the past 15 months that you really think are worth sharing, please reach out, as I'm always open to new books as well as a discussion about why you enjoyed them. Finally, I wish both you and your families a happy and safe summer. Talk soon.